Hello gorgeous, welcome to the video. Today I am going to teach you how to be more disciplined and 3 steps that can help you hack discipline. You ready? I could do without the background radio noise. Is that the football? Are you serious? Okay, great. Okay. I think it's going. Jeez, I'm so sorry guys. Honestly, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Shamelessly got my notes here again. I'm gonna do my best to do better and look at you guys. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know about discipline is that the hardest part about it is getting the ball rolling. Whatever is in your mind, you're probably going to make it worse than what it is in reality. It's the sitting down and the opening the textbook. It's the waking up and getting to the gym. That part is honestly the hardest. That is, I would say, the 50% of the mental game. Once you get past that and you get the ball rolling, you enter flow state and you're good to go. When you're making that transition as well between getting the ball rolling and getting into flow state, incorporating some affirmations into that can be really, really useful. So when you're met with internal resistance about, oh, I'm not this, I can't do this, I've never been this, that's the time where you want to bring in affirmations. I can do this, I am able to do this, I've done X, Y, Z in my life, I've overcome this, and the other, I can absolutely do this. And then you push past and you enter flow. What happens is people will start things and they won't push past the initial thing. They won't push past the initial resistance. They encounter resistance and they take it as a signal to stop. That is not a signal to stop. You need to carry on, and when you push past that initial form of resistance, that is when you're able to enter a flow. Imagine you're in the gym, you know, when you're first like sort of working out and stuff and it's like really horrible. But then you push yourself to the point where you feel like you're gonna break, but you don't. And then you go some more. That is when you're able to enter flow. That is when you're able to enter the next level. That is when you're able to tap into this extra juice that you never knew you had, or maybe you did, you just didn't want to bet on it. So get the ball rolling. Don't underestimate the power of getting the ball rolling. The way that you want to treat this as well is like it's a muscle, because discipline honestly is a muscle. It's one of those things where, you know, people when they sort of overhaul their lives, that maybe they start going to the gym, the rest of their lives, it sort of has this ripple effect. Discipline is one big muscle. There will be some, I guess you could say, subcategories or whatever, but for the most part, when you practice saying no to yourself, when you practice drawing a line and saying, I'm going to do this instead of that, that's a skill that you continuously hone, a muscle that you continue to strengthen the more that you train it. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of getting the ball rolling, because you're only going to get better at it every single time that you do it. The second thing that you want to keep in mind when it comes to discipline is that you do not give yourself a choice. You do not have a choice. If you need to get up at 5 a.m. and train, you need to get up at 5 a.m. and train. You don't have a choice. If you need to get to work and you're self-employed at 9 a.m., you need to get to work and you need to start your work at 9 a.m. It is non-negotiable. Now, there's always a choice, guys. Clearly, there is a choice in practically everything. We know that, we're not stupid, but you cannot give yourself one, and that is the important part. When you make it so that you don't have a choice, you have no choice but to do it. The difference between the people that succeed with discipline and the people that don't is whether or not you give yourself a choice. Are you going to be the type of person that says, oh, I have a choice? Or are you going to say, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I'm obligated to do this. Listen, for example, I am so sleep deprived right now. I'm so sleep deprived. It's coming up to 9 p.m. You might think that's not late. It is late for me because I have not slept properly in days. But I have a deadline to meet when it comes to my filming. My dad's in the other room. I always get self-conscious when my family's in the house and I have to film. But I'm doing it anyway. I'm doing it anyway because I have given myself no choice. You see? I don't have a choice. Other people may have a choice. You don't get one. Because if you want what you want, you don't get one. The third thing you want to know about discipline is that social media scrolling is incredibly, deeply unfulfilling. Incredibly, deeply unfulfilling. There is nothing that you gain from doom scrolling. Absolutely zero, zilch. The only time you should be going on social media is if you want to find something out. Now, I know we're all guilty of scrolling, doing way too much nonsense than we actually should. And the sad part is whilst we're doing it, we think we're having fun. But we're actually not. None of that is fun. If I asked you after half an hour of scrolling what it is that you've learned, would you be able to tell me anything? Maybe one thing. One. But that's it. After half an hour of scrolling, what value have you actually gained from that? It never actually adds value to your life. You would be far better off reading a book or listening to a podcast that you're actually interested in. Go for a walk, listen to a podcast, call a friend, talk to them. Spend some quality time with your family or friends or even your pets, as opposed to going on your device and entering a zombie state in order to switch off. Switching off is not going on your phone. Switching off is not going on your computer. Can you please hear the irony in that? How ridiculous is it that we have to go on our screens in order to tap into this feeling of calm? Most of the time, we don't actually end up feeling calm. We end up being overstimulated. And then we wonder why we can't sleep or why we're so anxious. We're not naturally meant to process that many thoughts. If you want more discipline, you need still a mind. You need a more calm mind. So start making it easier for yourself by logging off. Listen, I can be absolutely rubbish. When it comes to that screen time thing, I'm not going to listen to it. That notification that's going to come up, I'm not going to listen to it. What are you talking about? You want that my time limit has come up. What are you talking about? Off. So what you need to do is when you go to bed at night, you need to leave your phone on the other side of the room. You need to turn your phone off. You need to set an alarm that's not on your phone. You need to put your phone in the other room. You need to have an allocated space to do your work and an allocated space to relax. Understand? You need to set up places where technology is allowed within a certain format and where it's not allowed within a certain format. Create those barriers for yourself physically and they will be easier to maintain in your mind. So the fourth thing about discipline that you really need to learn to pay attention to is your mind. Like I said, it's always going to be worse in your head. Whatever it is that you have to do, you're going to be the biggest drama queen or the biggest drama king or whatever you want to call yourself in the world when you spend more time thinking about doing something as opposed to actually doing it. We often overthink it. We think we need to feel XYZ before actually going ahead and doing it. That is not true. You don't need to feel anything about the task that you need to do. You just need to do it. This is pretty funny, but we think we'll start Monday, right? Because we assume that the Monday version of us is just inherently going to be more motivated. They're going to be a better version of us. How are they going to be a better version of us if we haven't done the work to be better? We think not only are they going to have more potential for success, they're actually going to have a greater ability and energy to achieve said success. Now, where'd that come from? You think Monday's going to give you that? Honey, if you know anything, if we know anything by now, is that Monday of all days is not going to give you that. You need to understand, no, your potential is just as great as today as it would be on Monday. So sit down and do the work at the time you said you would. I've written here, build that self-trust so at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror or lie in bed at night, you can call yourself a disciplined person and live with yourself. Underrated piece. And 5, the last thing that you should pay attention when it comes to discipline is you need to eat the bloody frog. I don't care if you're a vegan, go eat the frog. You think you're being productive? No, you're not being productive. What do you need to watch 5 videos for when you have all that work that you need to get done? What are you doing learning how to cook this fancy cuisine when really you should be going out to do your workout? What are you doing? Don't worry about the mess in your room. Don't worry about your chores or your eyebrows or your errands. Do the thing you don't want to do and do it now. You will like yourself more for it. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 3 things that can help you hack your discipline. They're going to help you go from a state of slobbiness, I don't feel like it, to I'm going to do it regardless of what I feel like and I'm going to get it done. 1. Scent. Have a signature which signals to you, okay, I'm in the zone now. For me, I like to use a body spray because the association of it allows me to kind of enter a flow state better. Alternatively, you can use clothing, nails, hair, makeup. For example, when I put my gear on, I know I'm ready to go. I know I'm going to feel better about presenting myself. Just being neat, taking the time to be neat, wearing ironed clothes as opposed to sweatpants. I mean, you could iron your sweatpants if you wanted, but taking the time to be a little bit more pristine, put a little bit more effort into yourself. Say I'm a professional. You want to take yourself seriously. Alright, so maybe for you that is sweatpants, but what you want to do is change your format from slob mode to work mode. Even sitting in a certain chair. My mom, when she works from home, she'll literally sit in a specific chair, and we know that's like her mini office. We're not going to disturb her when she's sat in that chair. Similarly, when I was studying for exams in the past, I would sit in a certain type of way. I'd have maybe 2 or 3 positions throughout the day that I would shift between, but when I was sat in that position, in that chair, people knew not to mess with me. I mean, yeah, because I was in crazy mode revising. People knew not to disturb me, right? So you need to also know that you're in the zone. Get yourself a chair or get yourself in a specific spot where you say to yourself, now, this is my zone. I'm entering my zone. Take yourself seriously. This is basically using like the power of association to help you change gear. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but I know there are certain sweaters where if I wear them, I'm not gonna do the work. You leave me in my dressing gown, I'm not gonna work. PJs? Are you kidding me? I might as well be sick. I have this amazing avocado sweater that you guys might have seen on my channel at this point. I love it. But I'm not gonna work in that. Don't ask me to work. You kidding me? And the thing is, there are certain things, all these tricks and stuff I'm giving, They are to aid you. They are to help you to get into that zone. We think because we can't just easily get into flow state, or we can't easily do what it is we have to do, that we're just really undisciplined and we're bad people and that we'll never get to where we want. You think discipline is easy? You think discipline is something everyone wants to do? No. Most people are the most disciplined when they go to work and they have a boss that's ready to hand them some very unpleasant consequences if they don't do what they have to do. Outside of that, the regular Joe is not super disciplined. There's nothing wrong with finding discipline hard. It's just what you do with that. It's whether or not you do the thing anyway. If getting into a new pair of clothes, if ironing your clothes, if putting on a specific scent, if painting your nails helps you to get into gear, that is fine. That is normal. That is human. It's okay. Whatever it takes. The second thing, this is key. Stop watching motivational videos and be your own motivation. This is actually the self-improvement trap that a lot of people talk about as well, where you've consumed so much self-improvement. You're like, yeah, I know everything about self-improvement. You could have conversations about it for days. And yet you've done nothing to actually improve yourself, right? So there is no good in watching a ton of motivational videos. Motivation is just what? A spark and desire to do something? It does not correlate with outcome. Action correlates with outcome as opposed to motivation levels. So you could feel incredibly motivated, but if you're constantly looking for an external stimulus to motivate you and to make you feel like you're actually achieving something, not only are you doing what? 0.5 that I mentioned earlier, waffling and fake progress, fake productivity-ing yourself, but you're also not being disciplined. So stop lying to yourself. Snap yourself out of it. No amount of external validation, even if it sparks something deeply internal within you, is actually going to get you out of bed, so to speak. Get you to do the thing that you don't want to do and show up as a person that you don't have the energy to be. You need to build momentum, and that starts by taking action now. Through building momentum, you will find further motivation. You understand? So I've been where you are. If you watch a motivational video, say you watch it first thing in the morning, right? This part is really key. Doom scrolling in the morning, you find something that motivates you. Amazing. What happens? Peak. I would like to do something. And then what? And then you stay, and it drops down. It drops down. It drops down. It drops down. Why? Because your mind's not there anymore. You didn't take that opportunity of motivation to get out of bed and then go do something. No, instead you decide to stay on your phone. So what happens? It drops, it drops, it drops. In the back of your mind, you know you're letting yourself down, right? So your motivation dips even lower, because in your self-belief, where's that going? Yeah, out the window. Exactly. That goes down. What do you need now? Oh, you need another pop, another peak of motivation. You get it? And then you do nothing about it. What happens? It goes back down. And repeat, and repeat, and repeat. And where do you get to after half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever? Nowhere. In fact, you probably feel worse than when you first got up. Because now, not only have you wasted 45 minutes, but you've got all these peaks that you could have taken advantage of, and yet you didn't. You did nothing. So rather than relying on social media, these reels and shorts and clips to motivate you, become your own motivation. Momentum builds motivation. You want to know why? I just talked about this in a video that I just filmed about half an hour ago or so. I'll probably post it before this one. When the 3D starts to show up, the effects, the results, the positive consequences, outcomes that you want, that's evidence of momentum, and that will further motivate you. But in order to have that, you need to take the first step. That is very important. And then you know what? You need to take the second step, and then the third, even when you don't feel like it. Repeat. But you can become your own source of motivation. So get off your phone. You don't need these outside people. Because these outside people, yeah, they'll throw a motivational quote here and there. Me too. But then the rest of the time, they're working on themselves. They're being their own sources of motivation. I suggest you do that for yourself too. The third hack, get up, then wake up. Not wake up, then get up. So many of us preset our days with scrolling and basically give ourselves a negative subconscious loop of what we're not, what we cannot be, and what we will never be, and everything that we don't have. If you want to understand what I'm talking about, feel free to check out my jealousy video where I talk more about these sort of sensitive morning night state that we're in. If you understand what I'm talking about, then great. But what I'm trying to say effectively is, first thing in the morning, if you're scrolling, not doing anything for yourself, just scrolling, you're creating a negative subconscious loop about what you're not. You're not actually giving yourself evidence as to what you are. We do this in an attempt to wake up and engage with reality. But you and I both know that you're going to be there for way too long for your own good. Instead, what you want to do is preset your day with positive affirmations about yourself. Remind yourself why today is enough, even if it's shit. Remind yourself of why it's enough, why it's good enough for you, of all people, to work with. Be delusional and tell yourself the stories of the truth that that version of you lives in. And then go and live as them. But out of all of this, the part that I really want to emphasize is the importance of you getting out of bed before you feel awake. Get up, then wake up. Just as Jen Gottlieb says, I think that's how you say her second name, I'm so sorry if I'm ruining it. She says, start before you're ready. Now, she obviously uses this in other contexts, but I still think it's applicable here. Let this serve as a metaphor for you. You are able to do things that make you uncomfortable. You are bold. You are focused. You are imperfect just like any other human being, but you don't let that stop you from doing what you need to do in order to get the life that you want to get. No matter what, remember who you are. Now go and be that person. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if I was a little janky. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on being better and structuring my videos a little bit better. I actually wrote these notes up about nearly 6 months ago now, so a little dated, but I hope you liked it still. I hope you are also enjoying my tapestry. You can go and see how I am kind of getting my room together on my other channel. I'm making my dungeon. Do you like my makeup? Anyway, we don't need a waffle. Not for this video. Go, do what you need to do. I've done it, so you can do it too. We are one and the same, you and I. I'm proud of you, by the way. You know, a lot of people with discipline and stuff, a lot of it nobody's watching, right? Nobody's there to pat you on the back. Because discipline, and the most difficult discipline, usually we require for the journeys that we have to sort of walk alone. And for that, people don't always get it. Those are the journeys that sometimes feel the loneliest, when no one's there to pat you on the back, to say, I understood how difficult that was for you, I am in awe of you. Not all of us are privileged to have a coach, or to have someone or people around us that get it. And so if you're doing that for yourself, if you're showing up for yourself, and if you haven't told yourself that you're proud of yourself, I'm telling you that I'm proud of you. And future you is going to be so in awe of you and grateful to you. So keep it up. Now stop watching me, like my video, and go. Get off your phone, get off your computer, and go. Your work, your future self is waiting for you. Don't make them wait any longer. See you next time.